Asus ROG Phone 6T Ultimate Review. The Asus ROG Phone 6T Ultimate has an inherent resemblance to the Asus ROG Phone 6 Pro, making it one of the most powerful gaming phones available today. However, it doesn't offer any meaningful improvements over its previous version, and the higher price point is a bit of a turndown for some people. But it comfortably maintains the Asus ROG Phone's apex predatory status within the gaming phone market. It may be hard to understand why Asus bothered making the 6T Ultimate. Given that its launch prices are actually £100 higher than those of the 6 Pro, it's a bit strange, but we're going to see if the final product fares well. It remains a large, heavy, and explicitly gaming-focused phone. The screen is just 9.9mm thin and weighs 199 grams. On the back of the phone, you'll see a slightly subdued version of the space gray finish that's not quite as bright as the one found on the 6 Pro. It looks like Asus has decided not to take advantage of the fact that its new Zenfone 5Z was certified for IPX4 protection. There's also an additional 2-inch screen at the back called the ROG Vision. It displays custom graphics when receiving phone calls, when the laptop is being charged, and more. For people who want to be part of the gamer culture, it's basically completely useless, but if you really want to look like a total dork, then by all means go ahead and buy one. On the opposite side of the back panel is an additional port for attaching the Aeroactive Cooler 6. It's not essential because the 6 Pro already has plenty of ports for adding accessories. The fan itself has two functions, one for cooling down the device during heavy usage periods, and another for providing better air circulation around the screen. In addition to these features, the phone includes 4 physical keys on the backside of the phone. These keys can be used to trigger certain actions within games and apps. For example, pressing the volume button twice will mute your microphone, while holding the power button will shut off the display entirely. One of the most useful features of the XPS 15 9560 is its dual USB-C port configuration. You get a single USB-A port on the right rear corner of the laptop, which is ideal for connecting peripherals. And then there's another USB-C port on the left rear corner of the laptop. Asus has chosen not to include a notch on its phone. Instead, it has opted for a full-screen design. One of the most important factors for gaming is that there isn't any annoying bezel getting in the way here. The front camera is hidden inside the phone's large-sized head, so you don't get any obstructions when watching videos or playing games. The most significant difference between the Asus ROG Phone 8s and its predecessors in terms of performance. These numbers are really good for an entry-level device. They're even better than some high-end smartphones. Most important of all, the ROG Phone's performance was consistent throughout the entire test. It performed consistently even after running the intensive 3DMark Wildlife Extreme Stress test for 20 minutes straight. It was certainly no improvement over the 6 Plus, which had been performing consistently well for years. There is only one version of the Asus ROG Phone, and it has 16 GB of RAM and 512 GB of internal memory. Asus has built the ROG Phone 6U Ultimate with a massive 6000 mAh capacity, which is the same as on the Asus ROG Phone 6 Pro and Asus Zenfone Max M2. Separating its large capacity into two smaller ones makes it easier for the device to handle heat buildup. Playing for half an hour drained 8% of a full battery, and playing for entire hours streaming Netflix at 3% drained the battery. Still, that's better than the previous generation. An entire hour of listening to songs sucked up 2% of the battery. You get a 65-watt fast charge in the box as a stock feature, just like with the OnePlus 6T. This is sufficient to reach 46% in 15 minutes, then 85% in 30 minutes. Asus says you can hit 100% in 42 minutes, which matches my experience. Asus also go above and beyond with its batteries, which is good news for people who play games on their phones. Go into the settings menu and you'll see an option called Steady Charge, which basically limits the speed at which the charger charges the device. If you want to charge less than 100%, you can set a lower limit for when the battery will be charged to 100%. This helps extend the battery's natural lifespan. Because gaming phones usually don't bother with wireless chargers, the Asus ROG Phone 6 Ultimate doesn't either,